Hello, welcome to my MyWebUniversity free education videos, my YouTube channel. On this video, I'm going to demonstrate how to install Ubuntu 22.04 Linux version, which is this one, 22.04 long-term support Jammy Jellyfish. And I have already downloaded the version. But before I start, let me just introduce you to my YouTube channel. You're welcome to subscribe. Last night actually, I posted this video that is teaching you the Linux Ubuntu operating system. My book is called Direct Path to Linux Ubuntu, and it has about 7 chapters. On chapter 4, which I'm currently posting all the documentation and pages and videos and everything on the web at mywebuniversity.com website. And this video is already posted on YouTube. It is about chapter 4. Chapter 4 has about maybe 88 sections. So if I go to, actually right here, I have open mywebuniversity.com, and this is chapter 4 basically. If I go to chapter 4 here, there's about 88 commands here that you can watch and learn from them. Yesterday, we covered all of this on that video. So you're welcome to watch that video on YouTube channel and learn from it. And then I'm going to cover the next one sometime tomorrow morning. And then this weekend, I'll cover some of it. But this video that I'm doing here for today, it is about Ubuntu installation on Virtualbox. So in order to do this one, I prepared the Linux Ubuntu and documentation for you to see that we could look at the quick slideshow for this one. And then basically it's going to be an installation of Ubuntu 22.04 long-term support desktop as a virtual machine. When we are running it as a virtual machine, we need some sort of hypervisor. The software that does enable the virtual machine creation is called Virtualbox, which is under the Oracle website. I already showed you on my MyWebUniversity free education how to install Virtualbox on a previous video that is posted already on the YouTube channel, and how to install Virtualbox on Windows 10 platform. So we're going to just go through the installation of Linux Ubuntu 22.04 as a virtual machine on an x86 platform. And you're welcome to subscribe at MyWebUniversity free education videos so you can watch and then get the latest update as I post them. And let's just go back to the page where I show you this right here. I already showed download and install configure Oracle Virtualbox. You're welcome to watch this video and know that how you can install Oracle Virtualbox on a Windows platform, Windows 10 in this case. And since I have already done that one, now I have this Windows Virtualbox icon in my task manager. And as you can see, it is available here. And that was as a result of this video. Now I have been running Virtualbox. At the time of this demo, at the end of it, I demonstrated how to create a Virtualbox for Linux, Solaris, and Ubuntu. But I removed it since I want to just start fresh for installing Ubuntu at this time. So you get to see exactly on this video what I'm going to try to teach you. So it doesn't get any confusion from there. Let me minimize this window and then come back again. This is my terminal on the mywebuniversity.com webpage, and that I'm welcoming you to MyWebUniversity free education videos. And then as you can see here, I'm asking you to please subscribe to our YouTube channel, and this is the URL that I just showed you on the browser, that you're welcome to subscribe and then like, and then make comments as you need for something. I'll make sure that when I'm off from work, I could just provide some useful information for you as well. So let's go back to this screen. I'm going to just minimize this other one and minimize this window also. And right here is the only window that I want to just enable it at this time, so you can see only one screen. And as you can see, we have an option of installing a virtual machine on a Windows machine. So here, if you just if I just clear the screen, and then this is my Windows desktop, and I run the system information 5 more. This is my Windows 10 operating system that I've already installed the Hyper-V, which on this case is for Windows, you can install Hyper-V, or you can install VMware, or you can install Virtualbox. But Virtualbox is running on Mac, Linux, Windows, all platform as well. So Hyper-V is only for Windows, and then VMware is running for multiple platforms as well, especially for Windows. And then for Virtualbox, it's open source. We install it, and if I just go here under help and it says go to Virtualbox website, it will take me to the virtualbox.org. Now it's owned under the Oracle because Oracle bought or merged with the Sun Microsystems. Sun Microsystems used to, bought Virtualbox at some point. So Virtualbox was open source, Sun Microsystems acquired, and then Sun Microsystems was acquired by Oracle. Now Oracle owns it. So that is the website for it. And if I just go to Oracle website, also takes me to the Virtualbox documentation and downloads and everything. So you can go visit the Oracle website and download based on your product and the Virtualbox. But since I have already done that one, on this one, I'm just going to show you that my laptop is ready for x86 platform. And then it has 16 gig, a total of 16 gig, as you can see here. So I'm running Windows 10, and I want to just install Linux Ubuntu. So now coming back here, I go under the new. I can get it under my machine new, or just click in here on this icon. And then I'm going to say Linux Ubuntu. So the name of the Linux Ubuntu, I can even put the specific version, 22.04, like this, 0.04. So that way I know that it's the long-term support. If you want to just keep the track of those information, you can do that on the host name, or you can just basically, when you get into the system, you can do cat -n etc OS release, or cat etc OS release file. So here, this one is 64-bit. I'm going to click next. And then the memory size, I want to allocate about half of the memory because 50 gig, 1 gig is too small. And then I am allocating about 8 gig, 8192 is about 8 gig here. So that's good enough for this one. And when I don't run it, I don't use it. That's still the 15 gig or 16 gig that I have is all be allocated for the operating system. In this case, I'm going to create a virtual desktop. So I'm going to say the size, I'm going to create it as a hard disk. Virtual disk image, and then dynamically allocated, yes. But the size, I'm going to just give it enough so I can just get to use this system well. So let's give it like 200 gig. 200 gig. For some reason, the mouse is not moving to 200 gigabyte. Let me just wipe it out completely, and the B is staying there. So let me just click here. You can always click on this one and then change the number here to 200 gig. That'll be the fastest rather than moving it. In this case, it was a little bit slow. So 20, it is just not moving it properly with 1024 gig. So I'm gonna just say in gigabyte here. Let's just change it now to 200. This is 200 gig, and then out of the 2 terabyte that I have. So you have to change it to gigabyte first, and then be able to change it to that one. You should be able to highlight it and just type it in as easy as it is. So now I'm going to go to the other setting because I just somehow selected the default. And as you can see here, all the settings that are preset, like the display, I want to change that one. So if I go under the general, and then on the display, I can click here and move this 16 gig to 128 gig. Under the system, under processors, there's only one processor, so I'm going to be fine with that one. The memory is 192 megabyte, which is about 8 gig. And then the general, everything is okay. So we look at the processor, and then we look at the display. Now we're going to go on the storage. On the storage, I can just also add the storage, say, go to the ISO image, and then do the rest of them. Audio is okay. Network, I'm going to use NAT, network address translation, which is fine. And then based on this information, serial port or USB and shared folders, I can do that one after when I'm done with the virtual machine. So all the setting is good, and I just changed the display from 16 megabyte to 128. Now, if I just click on the start, it's gonna just say, you wanna just provide me an ISO image, because I did not attach any storage of ISO on the default. So when it goes try to power on the virtual machine, I will see that it's gonna prompt for the E drive. And then in this case, I'm gonna say add, and I'm gonna go to my download directory. The download directory I need to show you on this browser. I already went to the Linux Ubuntu, search for the latest 22.04 Ubuntu version, which is Jammy Jellyfish, and then find out the one that is 64-bit here. I click here and then download it from the internet. And when you download it, it comes in under your directory of, let me just go back to the desktop, this PC, and then under the downloads, you can see this Ubuntu 64-bit is already downloaded there. And you can also reveal that information from command line. So if I go to downloads directory, clear my screen, directory, start Ubuntu, and then you can see that this Ubuntu.iso image, which is about 3 gig in size, or 3.6 gig in size, it will just be available for me to do the installation on this. So I'm going to just go to download directory and choose this Ubuntu version that I just showed. And this is the ISO image here. So I'm going to say open. Now this one is there, and then I'm going to say click on choose. So let me minimize these other windows and move this one here out of the way. So this was the selection, and then I select this one. I'm going to click on and choose, and then that one comes in. I'm going to move. I'm going to just basically say start the installation. So then the installation, I have a choice to make this screen a little bit bigger. And let me just go try. Now we're going to go to Ubuntu installation, Ubuntu install for manufacturer, and then Ubuntu safe graphic install. And save if I want to bring it up, and then OEM install for manufacturer, and then test memory. Try or install Ubuntu. So in this case, I'm going to try or install, and then I'm going to come back to the option of, I'm not going to try it from the ISO image. I'm going to actually install it. The option should come out, say that you want to install it, and then I say yes. And then that is the screen that I'm seeing here, mouse pointer. So that's fine. And then the screen, if you full size it, sometimes you get a nice screen like as it is here. And then sometimes it takes a little bit just for the Ubuntu installation to continue. And we have to give it a little bit time for all the daemons that are supposed to start running, and then load the system for the initial creating the partition, and then running all the details of building the operating system and the boot blocks and all that, and grab and everything else. And then as it comes in on a screen that it says, okay, now it's running the Debian packager to install the packages that are there, essential packages, and then we will just pause the video and then let it run for a while. It's going to take a while, and then we just finish it after. So in order not to see this large screen of display, if I just do escape, you will see the, instead of the black and white, it says that the start job is running. So it is going through the process. And then right here, if I just go back to the scale mode, then I say, yeah, I'd rather see it on the scale mode than just on that black screen for forever. So this one is coming here. We can also go on the right click on here under the task manager. And then since this is not changing as much, I'm going to minimize that one, and I'm going to just leave this one. And then notice that the CPU utilization is going high on mostly on the 38 for the 44% on the virtual machine. It is doing it, and then the Zoom is also recording it. So that information is going on, and then when it comes to the actual installation, we will just see the performance CPU wise and memory wise. Everything is going to be at some point maxed out, and then once the software releases some of these processes for others, and then it's going to be faster. So at this time, I'm going to just close some of these other connections to just release more memory. So let me just close this one, and I'm going to close this one. Some of these ones, no, I don't want to save it. And then the PowerPoint, we are done with it. We can close it, and then this one, I'm going to close this one also. And so let's see what other things. And then the notepad, I'm going to close at least these two. And then this one is still in progress. And as you can see, the bar is just spinning to show that it is in activity. And then the virtual machine is there. And then this one, I'm going to just leave this one on the side here and move this one here. And this one, it says running. So that is good, and this in the progress, and this is being processed. Now we're getting a screen there, and then the resolution of adjusting the resolution. And as you can see, it is coming up with a nice Jammy Jellyfish view on the screen as on the desktop background. In this case, we're just installing it. I'm going to say install Ubuntu. As you can see, the option is coming for whether you want to try it or install it. So I'm going to install it. In this menu right now, the keyboard layout is showing up. So I'm going to continue on the layout with English United States. And then it shows up with normal installation, download updates while installation. So this one, we can allow the download update install while installation is going on. And this saves after the installation time, which is good. So we don't have to just download some of the packages, but the installation is gonna go take longer. And so it's a choice that you can make depending on your instance of installation. In this case, I don't want to just download while the installation is going. I want it faster. So later on, I could just make sure that I have an Ethernet connection and it is getting there. And then we do the update anytime after everything is done. So the update is not urgent right now. We can just, after the installation is done, we can just update it. And then if I see the taskbar, basically the taskbar, you can see the CPU is getting still high performance, 94% or 90%, but it should drop. It should not stay in the high end. This bitwise connection is not much, so I don't have to close it. Microsoft Edge is running about 3.4%, which are some of the connection that I have already done for the website. So I want to just make sure that at this time you could see my WebUniversity free education channel, which is this one. And let me just make sure that I open this one on a separate window. I'm going to close it and then just launch the zoom in is there, and the Virtualbox, I don't need that one. The Oracle, I don't need it. So on the YouTube channel, which is something that I want to just show you for it. So if you search on YouTube channel for my MyWebUniversity.com, unfortunately the YouTube channel is just right now is spinning. It's going to take a little bit to give me the search. Let's see if I can type in now. And it's by default, I have already selected. So whether you type in MyWebUniversity, MyWebUniversity free educational videos on the search of YouTube, or you could just, basically you guys are going to be doing it. I'm logged on, so it shows up my default channel. But when you go for MyWebUniversity free education, one of the channels that is showing up here will be my channel. Let's see, my WebUniversity free educational, and all of these other videos are just showing up on the search engine of YouTube. Depending on the search engine, we call it SEO, search engine optimization, how it is going to do it. Let's see if it picks up my webuniversity.com. Yeah, it did pick up one of my video first. It shows up. So if you go to any of the video, and then you should be able to just subscribe to the channel. And going back to my site here, I can say your channel, and then I only see my website with all the videos there. So I'm going to click on videos here, so it doesn't play one of the videos, and it is going to be list of the videos, and the sorted by is showing up basically these videos that are there. And at this time, let's minimize this window and look up on the installation. So it says that installation type erase disk installation advanced features. So I'm going to do take that default and then say install now. And then once you go in here and then install now, let's just minimize this window. Okay, so if you continue, the changes listed will be overwritten to the disk, otherwise you will. So yeah, this is fine. I want to just take that as a initial installation, that disk that I allocated for it, about 200 gig. That will be a virtual disk image of this, and then it will just, now it's prompting me and it detects it that I'm on Los Angeles County, and already it's Pacific Standard Time. That's accurate, so I continue. And then here, your name, I'm gonna say Wahid, and then it just says the name of the computer, whatever you type in, it's gonna give that name. But I wanna just give it a name like algorithm, Al-Khawarizm, after Al-Khawarizm. Algorithm and computer science is the father of computer science, basically. He was the greatest mathematician of 7th century, a Persian mathematician, Muhammad bin Musa al-Khawarizm. And I'm really kind of honoring him by giving at least a host name after him. So pick a username, Wahid is fine. I could just have that one is fine. Choose a password. I'm going to choose a password. And then notice the username is lowercase. I can just keep it lowercase, that's fine. So I don't have to do it. It's case sensitive. Whatever you type in, you have to have a strong password, which it detects that it's a strong password. Require my password to log in. I use Active Directory. No, I don't want to use Active Directory. And then require it, and so I'm going to just say continue with this, and then I later on have to add this one to sudo files, so I have admin privilege as well once I log in. And then by default, if it doesn't give you that privilege, it will prompt you to just say you want to just give yourself root access, or just sudo access at least. And if you say yes, that will do it. At this time, it's copying files, so it is doing the installation, fast and full features of this. It shows you the latest version of Ubuntu, that is the current version 22.04. And if you go to this right arrow, you will see all the features that are introduced, like Firefox, Snap is package that handler for it, that handles like Firefox, Google Chrome, PyCharm Community, Visual Studio Code. All of those ones are Snap packages. On top of it, then, and the apt-get, apt-cache, all those ones are controlled under the apt front-end package manager. At the same time, you have the Debian dpkg package. And then there, on top of it, you have all these other add-on software for using VLC, for Spotify, and so on. And then the GIMP's image editorial shortcuts, a lot of nice background images and everything is there. The Firefox browser, as I mentioned, Thunderbird, all of them, Chromiums are part of the Snap. You can also use LibreOffice, which is free, and you can do like similar to Microsoft Office. LibreOffice Calculator and LibreOffice Impress, which is like PowerPoint, and LibreOffice Writer for doing like Microsoft Word, or Word is the Writer version of it. for Microsoft, and the LibreOffice Calc is the Excel spreadsheet on Microsoft Office. So you have all these appearances, you can change it, assistant technology and so on. And these are very nice to just have. At this time it's going through the installation and then it's copying files. I'm gonna pause the video, and then when it is done, all done, we will resume. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe so you get the latest and most recent videos that I'm posting on the internet. I appreciate it. Thank you. And as you can see now, I just unpaused the video, and it is already, the installation is completed, and then it just says you need to restart the computer in order to use the new installation. So that's what we are going to do. Click on the restart now and let Ubuntu reboot. So the version, as you can see, is Linux Ubuntu 22.04. Now it is going to just restart the system. And as you can see here, Ubuntu Linux Ubuntu 22.04 long-term support, the one that we say, it shows it's running. And on the right side is the actual virtual machine, Oracle VM, virtual machine. VM stands for virtual machine. So in this case, the host operating system is Windows 10, as we can see here on the command line. And if I clear my screen, clear screen, and then do system info, and then type more, you can see that this system is running Windows 10 operating system, which is going to be revealed here soon. Loading hotfix information, which is going to give it a couple of seconds, and then loading the network card, loading the hypervisor. And as you can see, the operating system here, it is showing that the Microsoft Windows 10 Home is 10 version, and then it's the release is 19.044, and then Microsoft Corporation is the vendor. So this is for the operating system, and then the architecture of the CPU is AMD 64-bit architecture. It is about 3.1 gigahertz in the speed of the clock speed is about 3.1 gigahertz, and then the main directories are Windows, and it has about 15 gig. The available physical memory is only 2.38 gig, because we allocated about 8 gig for this, and the rest of the maybe 4 gig is used by the operating system and this application. 2.3 gig is still available for doing all the other activities. So, and then the virtual memory and all that information, swapping everything with a page file is also here on Windows. On Unix and Linux, it's called swap file, and here it's called page file. So that's for swap in case if you run out of RAM, it is just basically telling you. The Hyper-V requirement, it says that the VM monitor mode extension is yes. So we're going to go through this other screen right now, and then just please remove the installation medium and press enter. So let's go to the setting again. It tells us that the ISO image is still mounted. By default, it should have been unmounted. And if the system doesn't unmount it, then we can help it. Right here, you can see there's no ISO image. And then there's, this is the Linux VDI file, that's 200 gig that we allocated. So we could just press enter here on this right screen, and that would still just boot Ubuntu version. And then you can see the screen comes in. As you can see on the side where we look at the task manager, for the performance of the CPU and everything else, you can see the virtual box is about 32%, and now it's dropping a little bit lower. So we're going to just let it boot. The /dev SDA, which is the device that is the boot blocks and everything else in there. It is used, and then now it's going to go through the daemons to start up the system. And then when it goes to the log D, system D and everything is going to be in control, because Ubuntu is also using the Red Hat or Ubuntu distribution for system D. And Red Hat and CentOS and Rocky version, we call it Red Hat 7 and 8 and 9 have the system D. Ubuntu is also using system D for the latest versions that we have, especially. So any latest stable version in the past few years, you most likely have the system D, journaling D, and then all this log D and resolve D. All those system D related configurations will be in place, the firewall D and everything. And then Ubuntu is using the uncomplicated firewall D, which is a nice tool to just have the for firewall to enable the firewall. And there's a lot of stuff that is really neat on this one. When it comes, we are going to use it. In terms of the performance, if you look at the CPU, it's maxed out right now, 98%. And then in terms of the disk, it's very low. And then memory is 13.2 gigabyte out of the 5 gig. But once this one is going to run, if we run top on or edge top on Ubuntu, most likely you have enough space there. And so this is just going to be, some of it is going to be released back to the operating system, as well as what is available on the Linux Ubuntu operating system itself. All 8 gig will not be used just because this program gets loaded. So that is what is going on. And as you can see right now, Microsoft Edge is using about half a gig of all this stuff. And then because I'm recording at the same time, I'm doing a lot of other things with Microsoft Edge. So I'm going to just go back here and then ask you, please make sure that you subscribe to our channel, which is MyWebUniversity Free Education. At this free education videos, I bring to you not just Linux, Unix, Virtualbox, and MySQL database, or Python programming, or C programming, anything related to computer science. I want to just provide you videos and kind of like a concept, the explanation, tutoring, and how-tos in the future. Right now, I have about 130 videos that you can watch, and some of them is even in Farsi, and that I want to make sure that people, they don't know English for whatever reason, either they're living in Afghanistan or in Iran, and they are just want to learn the language in Farsi. I made it in Farsi, but if they are can speak both languages, they can watch the English version as well. So you're not just entitled to only watch in one language, and that way you can learn it in your first language. So those videos, I'll post more of them for everybody. So I want to just help in the community everywhere, and hopefully someday you will find a job. And thank yourself first by subscribing, and thank for yourself second, because you watched it and you learned it and you found out the job, and you support yourself so big that you are not only helping yourself, you're helping your family, as well as you're helping in the community. That's my goal. So hopefully you will follow that goal, and it will be like a binary tree. Whatever I provide you as a help, you will provide it to somebody else. And then this tree could grow bigger and bigger, and we all will help each other and become asset in our society and on our area that we kind of can contribute. That would be the best thing that could happen. And then this one, I don't need it anymore because we went through the Ubuntu installation already. So I'm going to close that one. This is the next topic that I will have another video. I have already covered chapter 4, part 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to cover part 5 sometime today or tomorrow. Today is Saturday night and it's 10:28, and I'm waiting for this video to complete. So this one hopefully will just finish, and we will get into the login page, and then we can just resume finishing this video. So let me just see how the performance is going on. CPU is getting a little bit better now. Memory is 13.4. That's fine because we allocated enough for this one. And then Ubuntu should have just come up by now. It is a little bit slow now. As soon as it should have come up by now, it just changed the resolution. So that's a good thing. Now it's prompting me for the login, and I'm just going to leave the performance here. We're going to look at this as it is, and then we're going to log in as Wahid. So I'm going to log in my initial login, provide the password, and then I'm just gonna say, okay, here's my password, and go ahead and start as my initial login. And this screen, I can make it a little bit smaller so it looks like maybe the size of this one, because the one that we want to do is this one. We could just even like this information that is showing on the left side, we can even minimize it, but it's okay if we just leave it here or not, because this both screens are happening here, and it will just come up soon. So the CPU is getting better and better from that. It's now 83% used, and then it will drop soon once some of these daemons are all started and Ubuntu is online. This will drop to lower, and then the memory also will be released a little bit. And then now Ubuntu is up and running, and then what is this screen? Yeah, this screen is basically the Virtualbox screen. So I don't need to just look at the CPUs anymore. I could just look at this and then say, okay, now the initial screen is up. Let's minimize this one. We just look at this main screen. And then at this time, it says online account, connect to your online account. So at this time, I'm going to skip this one. I don't need to set up my online account. And then send the information to Canonical. We could just say, yeah, go ahead, send that one. If there's any issue or any kind of reporting that needs to be done, we will enable it. The location allow application to determine the geographic location. If I want to just leave it on just for that one, in case if they want to know it, that's fine. That's a privacy thing, so you could just leave it off if you want to do it, or leave it on. For me, I don't care, honestly, to just for a software company to know exactly where my location is, and in terms of the city or geographic area, and that's why I leave it on, and I want to support them in case if they want to know this kind of information for any good reason. Notice that the software that I can add on as a snap, like code, and then PyCharm, Slack, Spotify, Zoom client, a lot of these tools are there. So then I can just add them on by clicking a button and then do it. At this time, I'm going to leave these ones because I'm going to make subsequent videos to install some of the Snap apps and some of the other ones that I need to add on. So I'm going to say, yeah, I'm done with ready to go. So now it is just coming out to the screen for initial. And this home button, I could just comment here and then use it, and or say do it later. But at this time, notice that downloaded, it takes about 517 megabyte to just start the system. So I could just continue on, say, go ahead, do the install now, and then it might take a little bit, but I'm going to just do install now, and at the same time introduce you to some of the features of the Linux Ubuntu version. So on the software update that this is, software update, I'm going to just say install now, and then this would just make this video better, because that way you could see that if there's any software, additional software that we need to do, it will take care of it. So I'm going to just say wait, and then it is waiting right now, but it is just going through the installation of the software update. So this screen, I can just even resize it to a better screen or make it as large as full screen. But I think this is good enough for me to just demonstrate long kind of terminals and everything. So while this one is going, the software update, you can see the Debian Package Manager is just basically downloading all the Debian software from the Debian repository, which is on the etc app, and then it's called resources.conf, and I'm sorry, resources.list. I just put a video on the apt-get, apt-cache, apt-config, and apt.conf, and resources.txt file that has the Debian packages and all those related information related to the apt software, which is the package manager. And then on another video, maybe I could talk about the Debian PKG and snap. But this is what's going on right now. It is on behind the scene. The software gets installed or updated by those package managers and Debian package manager. So I'm going to just leave this screen on the side here, and I click on here where it says show apps. So at this time, it's going to show all the current apps that's already installed. On top of that, I could just install additional application. As you can see, this is a list of a big list of application like LibreOffice, calculators, and then text editorials, and Chromes, and everything, Firefox, everything that is already either installed or you can install it under these applications. Their options are there. And I have been having two kind of desktop terminal. One is on the left side, and the other one was just on the left. One on the right side, and one is the current one that we were using. So you can just look at it. Here, this one is the trash, which we don't have anything at this time. This software update is the screen that is already active and it's open. That's why there's a dot here, like a red dot, saying that you have one open here. This help is on the side is a question mark. You can get any documentation or manual pages of Ubuntu. So whatever information you want to just read it from there, and then you could just get it from there. And then now I just open it as a snapshot of, kind of instance of that is open, and therefore this red dot is showing that I'm using the Linux Ubuntu desktop guide. So you can read the manual pages as well as all the user guide and all the system accessibility. Everything is setting and everything. It is information that you can even search for a particular one. I'm gonna exit out of that one. This other one is the Ubuntu software. So all the Snap application related is under Ubuntu software. The apps that are currently installed will be there, and the ones that you have a choice of searching for them and installing them. For example, let's say the Firefox comes with it. If you just want to do Chromium or something else, then you could just say, okay, let me install that one, and then you select it from the apps, Ubuntu software. This one is the LibreOffice Writer, which has the calculator, and then the PowerPoint, which is called Impress. And then this one is the Rhythm Box. This one is your files. And then on the top, under the activities, you also have these what they call it is the mailing system that for this one. Let me just, so this is the Thunderbird software for the mail, and then this is the Firefox. So for some reason, they were not just showing up with the icon when I was pointing to it. And then, so the Firefox is part of a snap here. And then I'm going to close this one, downloading application rating. So let's just leave this one and minimize, and then see if I can go back to this other screen. And then right here, if I right click here, I can also go open a terminal. As you can see, open in terminal. So I could have a terminal which I can log into the system and run commands, as well as under the Ubuntu, I can open up a terminal. So now the terminal comes out, and then I could just say hostname. It is going to just say that the hostname that was algorithm ID, and it's going to show my user ID and group. So if I say ID dash group, and then I could say the group is 1000, ID dash GN for group name, it is going to say that it's Wahid. ID dash U is going to say 1000. ID dash UN is also going to say group Wahid. So that is the information for myself. Let's see if I can sudo for it. And then I say sudo su dash, and then I'm going to type in for the password of Wahid to see if it allows me to authenticate as with a sudo privilege. And it did. And so that means there's an entry for Wahid already by the system saying that Wahid could also have root access. So I'm going to say on the sudoers, you can see there's somehow it is allowing me, but the sudoers are not there. Vi sudo, let's check to see, maybe the update is going to come and do it, but somehow I'm part of the wheel group maybe. So if I search for this, open it in Nano, which I don't like to, when I'm using VI, and my editorial should not be set to Nano. But notice that I'm like on the group of maybe admin or wheel. So if I just get out of this one and then type in Control X for exit and save the buffer, no. So I did not change it. Now, if I say echo $ editor, and then you see that editor is not set. So if I say export editor is equal VI, and then export visual is equal VI. Now let's see this time VI sudo. If I just run, now I'm on the VI editor rather than Nano. So I set up my editor environment variable to point to this one. Now, if I just search for Wahid and then I don't find it, that means it is not set on this one. So I do escape shift colon, and then I type in Q for quit, and then bang for sure, and then I will just exit out of that one. I did not make any changes. So how do I know that I'm part of any group? If I say grep -I Wahid on the etc password file in etc shadow, then etc group, then I know that, okay, I am on the group files. Notice that I am on the group file with sudo privilege. And then also, if there's any other group like admin, I'm part of the admin group. That's why my sudo worked without having an entry on the etc sudo work files. If I was not part of the admin group or the sudo, then the sudo would have not worked. Now clear the screen here. Since I did ID, I'm root, and then I could say password root. Now I'm changing the password, so I don't have any issue, even though with the sudo I can do it, but I want to make sure the password, I'm the only one knowing it, and nobody else can just use a default password. And if I want to just keep the password so it doesn't expire, I run -x -1 and then root. now the expiration changed. So if I don't log into this system in about 90 days, that it doesn't expire on me. So I will keep that password, and I just do it whenever I need to use the system. It doesn't lock up on me. Even though the same thing with the user ID that I have. So I could do the same thing, password -6 -1 for Wahid, and make sure that that password is not expiring either. And if I look at the password for Wahid, for example, on etc shadow file, the last entries, sorry, I just typed it wrong. Grep -I Wahid, there's no semicolon. I just by accident typed in semicolon there. So grep -I Wahid on the etc password will show me. Look at the grep. Somehow my keyboard wrote 3 R rather than 1. And then the same thing if I do on etc shadow, the shadow entry, it tells me that I modified the password, but notice this one is the lines are showing empty. That means that it's not gonna expire. So clear my screen here, and then if I just want to know what operating system, clear is the command, not CLS. CLS is Windows. So I clear my screen, and if I say what operating system version I'm using, I could do a uname -A. In this case, this is just an operating system that is just running as a hostname algorithm, but uname -O will just tell me the operating system is GNU Linux, and uname -R give me the revision of 5.5, and uname -M give me the machine type, which is x86 64-bit, and every other information that I need. I had shown it on the other videos. I'm not going to go through all the options. All you need to do is type in uname -help, and it will tell you -S is for system, and then -N is for a node name, and so on. So we will not go through that one. You can always learn it in one video and just watch it on the next video. So I don't want to repeat myself. I don't like to repeat myself. But on this file, there's another file that is OS release. You need to just know that one, that this is one that just got into the market about the month of May or something. May 22nd, and that I think, or 21st, that was there. The code name is Jammy Jellyfish, and it's a long-term support, which means for the next 5 years it will be supported. And this is the latest, greatest stable version that Ubuntu is running. So by running this, the latest, greatest stable version, clear the screen and then run the same command, and then now we're going to do one more time. In this case, I'm going to say apt list and then word count -L. So I typed in apt list word count -L, the pipe symbol, and then word count -L. This will just tell me how many packages are currently installed already. In addition to that, Windows software update will be done. When this one is done, completed, you will have more. So apt list, apt is the application programming toolkit or tools, and that is basically 72,000 different packages. So if I just say apt list, notice how many of those ones. That's why it took a while to just list those ones. And then when you do a word count on them, it is going to just count each of those packages, which are saying 728,000 packages, or 72,000, was it? Some big number. So these are all the packages. And then you can also do a Debian PKG -L, and that would be just showing you a list of all the packages. On the Debian packages, you can see --I, meaning that it's installed, and then U for updated. So those are options that you will see on the packages, and you can go through the list or just type in Q for quit. And then if I just do a word count on this one, word count minus L, this is 1644 Debian packages. And the file that is there is etc apt directory. And then as I was telling you, there's a file called sources.list. So there's a sources.list.d, and is if I go to etc apt and then sources.list.d, you can see that on this system that's empty, but later on the file will be created, and then that would, oh, sources.list is already there, the white one, and the text that is showing in white color, it is just sources.text, sources.text explorer. So this is the Debian packages that are, I'm just saying that when you're doing any installation, it is just consulting all these that are not commented. Debian, like if it is the 2 pound or 1 pound, that means it's commented. And if you want to use that one, then you have to uncomment it on that file. So all the list of the packages that are here are from Jammy Jellyfish, but it is the source is security.ubuntu.com/ubuntu. And the file is, as you can see, is sources.list. It is on this directory, and then this is the file, sources.list. And then you modify that one. Let's just look at the progress of the software installation. So everything says here installed, and then update is an option here. Now notice that these other packages are there as a snap. So we could install additional software later on other videos. I'm going to just refresh this update, and then it says update all. So now it says Firefox. It takes about this much in the GNOME binaries and JTK. So let's just say update all of this, because we want to make sure that everything that needs to be updated, we have the latest and greatest updated version. And then also we can do update on the system. Update will just do what we are doing it on the GUI here, Ubuntu software. So let's just go back, minimize this window, and then right here, we could just run ps-ef grep -i apt, and then grep -v grep. So when you do that one, oh, the ps, there's a semicolon here. Somehow my keyboard is a little bit different than my previous one. Somehow when I'm moving it, it just adds up to this one. So clear the screen, run this command, and this one is telling me that there's a Python binary sben apt daemon is currently running there. And then if you look at the process of this ID, if I say, okay, the parent process is init, which is systemd, and then this one is just that. So PS3 of process is 3, which is the proc file system related to commands. So I can just say, go ahead, give me a process 3 of that one. You can see the appd is calling the Debian packager, and then Linux firmware, and then update RAM file. All of that one is happening. But if I just do this one for the process system D itself, one, you will see that all the system D initial and that forked all these child processes, and then each one of them was there. Similarly, if I just change the process ID of this one and I say, show me the pwdx, meaning the process directory, working directory of executable, I can get it that this one was spawned from the root. And if I just say, give me the process map of that process, I can get the process map of that process from the proc file system, and all the details are here. So this is a little bit advanced level. For those of you that are working with Linux for a while, you should know that pmap is the process map from the proc file system. So you give it /ls-l on the /proc. There's a process ID called 2638, In this case, it says that it is the appd and the executable for it. And then for that one, it is having all these Python 3 binaries, and then the anonymous section, the packages section, and the shared object section. All of that one with the left side showing the memory map of all these shared objects and libraries that are being used while the system is up and running for that process. And then we could just also say, well, let's see what is the status of that process. If I do a trace on the process of that process, it will just run really fast, and it is going to just show if there's any activities going on, all the system calls that are there. So the strace requires a -p for process name, and then that would run, and then it just says all these function call, read, write, wait, all of that one is happening. But this is the file descriptor that are open. This is too much details at this time. I'm just kind of like trying to trace it, say how long it's gonna take and where the system is and what is it happening on the system calls, all that thing, you could just do it. And if you say, well, I read enough, I'm just gonna exit out, you're welcome to just clear the screen and run top. And then the top will also show what is the top activity on the system. The package for Debian is running and everything. So you could get on the system like CPU, for example, is only 41%. The memory is about 8 gig that is allocated total, but out of that 8 gig, about 2.5 gig is free. And this information that you're looking at, notice that all the process ID are there, the users, the priority, the NICE, and the virtual memory, the resident portion, the shared portion, the status, whether it's running or sleep mode or interrupt mode or anything, it just shows you. And the CPU is the percentage that is used, the memory that is used, the timestamp that this process, and the name of the process. So you could watch it, and then the top 20 process would be on the system that keep coming and going. And if you have any zombie process, you will see that one. So the top is really good. And also the htop for a graphic version of it. So this is not installed, then I can install it. If I say which htop, it is not there. So any additional package you want to do is you say apt install htop. And then now I can get that graphic version of it and just install it there. So right now, because the Debian package is already running, I cannot use another instance because it's a lock on the front end is already done. So I'm going to wait for that process and then use the htop at a later date to install it. This time, if I just look at the other information in terms of the date, calendar to see the system clock. So the calendar is not installed. And then that says that you can install apt install ncal. And when this update is done, it is going to install those other additional utility. If it's not there, I'll just make another video and install them by running the command there. So let me clear the screen here and then do a df-h. So this is my system running. We allocated about 200 gig on the main root partition. So you can see as 196 gig, 9.6 is used, and about 176 is available on the root partition. And that is my system. And everything looks good. I just have to wait for this addition software. Let's see if any of the extern stuff is there and not there. Xclock is not there. Some of these ones, if Xclock is there, you can run it. Xclock, let's say, and then the display is not there because $sign display is not set to X display. So in order for me to just get to the display here, I need to log out here now, echo $sign display. This display is set, and now I can run the Xclock. And then if I just have to do a root, I have to export the xclock with the xauthority file. That's not a problem. So you can run the command xclock and it will just open up a nice clock here. And if you wanted the format of xclock with dash digital, and then you get a digital format here. Let's see if I'm going to close this one, and let's see if I could just say here I could actually do a xterm also. So let's see if xterm works or not. Yeah, xterm is not working, so that means I have to install it, apt install xterm, and then I can just run the xterm and do it there. Since this one is running again, I have to wait for the apt D to be finished with all these installation. Unable to install update, unable to connect to snapd socket, connection refused. So somehow the connection is refused. I'm going to just leave it here and then close this one. I don't need to just wait for additional time on this one. I'm going to just say clear screen, sudo su dash, and then let's say I'm gonna do those update myself. So I'm gonna say, for example, snap list to see, for example, what is there. So a Firefox is already there. I can just say a snap and then dash help. You can see the list of options that is there for install. I can even do a snap update or install or reinstall all those options that are here. I can take advantage of them and then do it. So the install is there. If I just do for the find or info, I can just say snap list and then Firefox. So I could just say that, okay, Firefox is there and then it's latest, stable, the version that we're running, and it says that this publisher is there. So the snap info Firefox also gave me the details of the package itself there. Let's say do a snap install Firefox, even though it's installed, it says already installed. So if I do something like Chromium, then it's going to install Chromium for me. And it's going to say, well, yeah, you want to install that one? I'm going to install it for you. So that's a snap package. Similarly, and there's other packages that you can do like if I just want to know another browser, I could just minimize here. I can just open up another terminal here. And this one is just in the LibreOffice installation. That's why that one is taking a while. So if I just do here, open another terminal, notice I have a second one. You can also click on this tab to open additional one. So I'm going to become root or sudo here again. And then this time I'm going to say snap and then search. So I'm going to search for a browser to see what other browser besides Firefox and Chromiums are available for me. And now notice that there's a number of them that are here available. And if I just want to know on the list of browser, you can see it's a huge list there. So the list is really big. So let's see, anything with start with grep -I with O. So you can also get like awk, and instead of this one, I could say awk print $1. So the name start with the first argument we don't want to get the rest of the details. Here you can see that all the list of the version that we can just install as a browser, it is huge. And Opera is one of them. So when I was doing this, I could do, instead of this one, I could say grep -i Opera. So then you could do a snap install Opera, and it is about 89 point something. So let's just do snap install Opera. And then when you do the Chrome, Firefox, Opera, you have now 3 browsers. You can just open one of them to play around and then compare it. Whichever one is the most stable version that works for you, you can just use that version. Notice the installation of Opera is going right now. And on the other screen that we had, if we just click here, minimize this window, and then it is just a little bit slow on that one. So let's just see. Okay, so this one is still going on. Okay, and then I want to see this window and terminal. It is all good. And then let's just look at the main one. Okay, so right here, when we're clicking on this one, now you see the progress is about 55 on one. And then on the next one, so let's see, this one is here on the next one. I think the system is a little bit slow, so I have to be patient on the screen here that I'm just looking at. And this is the other one that I did with the snap install Chromium, already installed Chromium. As you can see on the bottom, it says canonical Chromium is installed. So snap list will just show that all the packages that are listed here that are installed on the system. And if I just say right here, this shows that it's installed the Chromium. I can also say snap list Chromium itself, and then it will show that it is available, running, and then installed. So the Chromium will just, the icon will also show up on the menu here, and then I can start them. Or if I just want to do it from this one, I say which Chromium, then I could just say /snap/bin/chromium. That would just basically start it with root access permission denied. So I have to just, because of the Chromium requires a root, a display, so I have to do a snap /bin/chromium as a regular user, so my display is set, and then that would just take me to the Chromium software there. And now it is loading that one. That's also written by Canonical because it's a snap package. The difference between apt and snap is a kind of like a container. The whole package is all put together as one big package. And that's why when loading it initially, it takes a little bit of time. But once it's loaded, it's much faster. That's why it's called snap. But then the package is on the app stuff, it's much easier to meet all the dependencies because there's a etc app resources.list that is going to have the repository, and every time there's a dependency A and B and XYZ, those dependency will be met. But for This one, you can see that Google is already up and running. And if I just go to a website here that I'm connected to the internet, I can just see that it's already on this internet. I am connected on the Ethernet, so my connection is wired and I have connection. I can also reveal that information. So if I just go to like jet propulsion laboratory.nasa.gov, jpl.nasa.gov, and then that will just take me to the JPL website, and then that's you can see it is a secure port, https jpl.nasa.gov, which is NASA Jet Propulsion Laboratory, and then there's a lot of nice views and kind of like images that you can look at NASA, and it's such a nice area that you could just visit for research and for everything else in terms of technology out there that you can name it. It's happening at Jet Propulsion Laboratory. So, and that's why this page says they're mighty things, which sometimes things that is almost impossible for other people's, we tried at Jet Propulsion Laboratory. So I'm going to just wait on this page because when it is refreshing, because of all these images, it is going to take like 10 seconds to just refresh the window. You can see that it is coming out with these nice images at the same time. So the faster your system is, those screens and everything is going to just not spin for a while. It's going to be nanosecond sometimes when we're working on the things. This is the time of COVID that they built everything. This is all the rovers basically that are landed on Mars. This is called MSL, Mars Science Laboratory. And as you can see, the project is working on every aspect of space and Earth science, and making a lot of progress and exploration, whether it's on Earth or outer space. Please watch them and just read some of the videos, watch some of the documentaries and everything. And this is in front of the building that I used to attend work. I still work in the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, but this is the area that they were moving the rover in front of the building inside the lab. So thanks for watching. I'm going to just exit out of this Chromium here now, and then close the Chromium, and then come back here. You can see it is there. Clear my screen here, and then on this one I'm going to close this external also, and then just let this one finish, because this is doing install Opera, and then the software update is almost there. So now it says restart later. I could just do restart later because I'm waiting for this Snap Opera to finish. I can always terminate that one and then just restart my system and then get everything up and running, and then with the latest everything, and then install additional software there, or just wait for the Opera, or I could do the Snap install Opera afterward. I don't have to wait for it and then restart the system. So let me just do this, Control-C out of this. I'm going to just stop the process here. Normally when you do that one, it is unstable on the Opera part, because this package, it doesn't know what needs to be installed, what needs to not to be installed, but I can just remove it and reinstall it. That's not a problem. I want to just finish this other part. So this window, I can even close the window, the terminal, and then it says close terminal. I can just do it here, or I could just have done something with the killing that process for the snap and then don't do it. But either way, I can just take care of that one. I don't want to make this video too long for it. So at this time, I'm going to restart the system now. And then after I restart the system, I'm going to shut down, stop this video. And then on the next video, I'll just do additional training, whether I start writing Python program or install PyCharm or C or C++ or any other things, Snap or something, that would be a next video. So let me just restart now and then come back to this other screen. And so the system is going to now boot again, and it will just be all available for me at this time when it comes in there to start it, which I could hold on to the restart and then just show you the restart part as well. And if it takes a few more minutes, I'm willing to just wait a few more minutes and make this video a complete video. And then the next time when I just make additional training, I'll just tell you what that topic is. So this one is basically going through the installation process. I mean, not the installation, through the startup process. This dev/SDA is basically the system file systems that are there, and then MTD is the mounted devices that are there. All the details are basically shown on the screen here as it boots. And then this process on the task manager again is going to go a little bit high on the CPU until the system comes up, and then the CPU utilization is going to drop. The memory is only 12.7 instead of the 17 initially that was there, because we had some other processes. And then the more CPU you have, the faster processing unit you have. If you have a GPU and other like CPUs that are integrated with GPU, all the graphic cards and everything on the system is going to help you the rendering part. But the CPU and memory is the essential part of the system, how fast it is and how much CPU you have, what kind of CPU you have, and how much memory you have. The more memory you have, usually it helps, but you cannot just say it's always helps no matter what it is. Sometimes the operating system have to take advantage of the multi-threading kind of multi-processing architecture, as well as the application that you're running. So now you can see that this system is again ready for me. If I just type in the processor command, and I could just say, let me log in. So it's gonna try to log in at this time. And this depends on your memory again. Sometimes it is like 10 second or 20 second. But if it is a slower machine, it could take a couple of minutes. It's always good to run the top when you're running on the system, so you can see the performance at peak time, what it is, and at runtime, and when you're running application. And then looking at Task Manager on the Windows side, the host operating system in this case is Windows 10. The guest operating system is the Linux Ubuntu. Those two terminologies are always used when you're talking about a VM. A VM that is running inside a host operating system is called the guest operating system. Notice that this time the activity and everything is there. And then if I just click on the apps, everything is going to be shown on the apps level. And then at the same time, some of the software that was installed is going to be shown here. These images are going to be shown a little bit better as soon as it gets updated. And then sometimes if it's too many of them, it is just a little bit, the icons are small. But if it is just a few, you will see bigger, like Chromium that is there, and then Some of them, when you point to it, like terminal, if I click terminal here, that will also open a terminal for me. So now the terminal is opening here. And then if I just run some commands at the terminal that I didn't do it in the past, I could just say uptime. It just says 4 minutes is up and there. If I say free-h, it tells me the memory that is there. So cat/proc/mem info pipe more is from the proc file system. I could see that I have about memory total for this system is about 8 gig. And then if I run free-h, also says you have about 7.8 gig or 8 gig, and then 6 gig is available. So if I run top, you can see that it is similarly there. And then now if I just want to do a sudo su dash and then say, let's say, type in the password. This time I'm gonna just do clear the screen and say snap list. Earlier I was doing something like for I believe for Opera was for Chromium. No, Chromium was installed already. Opera was just taking a while, so I stopped it. But it says that no matching installed, so I'm going to say snap install Opera, and then that will install the Opera on the system. So what I stopped, now I'm just going to reestablish that one. And if I click on this tab, I just get another terminal. So when I click on this terminal, I have this one, and if I click on this terminal, I could just get that terminal. So on this one, I'm going to do a sudo again, open another terminal, and then on this terminal, I'm going to run a few other commands. So this one, it says that is, let's see, sorry. So now in root, it should be, yeah, 3 incorrect password. Let me just see why. Sudo su dash, and then I'm going to type in the password. And then this time it shows me that is there. So the calendar command that did not work last time, let's see if it works there. And it says that you need to install. So I'm going to say apt install ncal, because at the package managers, I have to still do an update there, but I just want to fix that one, see how easy it is there to run some of these commands. And if the package is not there, it tells you the new calendar command needs to be installed, and that was not part of the original ISO image. So now if I say which ncal, it is there. If I say which cal, it's going to there. So calendar command is working, cal minus J for Julian format. You could do it ncal, also run it in that format, and cal minus Julian, and then cal for 2022, the entire year, you can see it. So all of that worked, and then the next thing that I want to do is clear my screen and run a app update. This would be just checking for all the system. This would make sure that any update that is there, my system is up to date, as if like I went to the software update. But this one is not going to have permission issue because of the running it as a root. So now I run it and it says reading system is up to date, building all the dependency. So now if I just say update again, it will just say your system is up to date. What are you trying to do? It's just already up to date. So it reads the resources.list from the ATC app directory and making sure that all the packages are up to date. Here it says all packages are up to date. with that, I'm going to just say uptime, and you can see the system is up, and then df minus h. So let's say clear a screen, and I say exit, which xterm. So xterm is not defined. If I just run this one, it's not going to do it. So I'm going to do sudo apt install xterm. So this one will install xterm. And then if it is missing, you need to install it. Any packages that you want to use that is not there, you just use the apt package manager and install it. Now I just install it. Anything related to the xterm that are part of the xterm packages will be available, including the xterm itself. So if I just say which xterm now, it is there. So user bin xterm by itself, I will just have an xterm window because my display is set. And now notice this one by default is coming there. So if I just say xterm minus background is, let's say, pound, I'm going to say 00 pound 00, and then 20 for dark green, and then 00 for blue, and then minus foreground. Let's say I will put the word white. I don't need to put pound FFF, and then this one, and then font, face, I'm going to say New York, and then I'm going to say font size is equal 20. So it looks bigger. And then I'm going to do ampersand for background. Now that window comes in a nice format, this, and then I could just say, well, let's run the df-h command. Let's run the cal command. Let's just say uname -a command. All that details are there. Let's see which xI's. If I have it there, so clear the screen, I say xI's. Now the xI's is going to just run, and this is available for me. So a lot of the nice stuff that you can just do on the system is there as well. So if I just get rid of this one and then just make the same screen, this time I'm going to make it let's say red background, and instead of green. So I could say and just make it dark red, and it's really nice here. You could do the commands here and everything. And then if I just want to change it to dark blue, and because this field for foreground is this one is red, this one is green, and then the last three is blue. So if I just want to do dark blue, then it will just open a dark blue here. And then xI's is just, again, is the tool that you want to run xI's. That's how you write xI's, not exact. So this one runs, and then if you want to background it, you could do Control Z and then BG, and then that would be backgrounded. At the same time, now you have commands in front of it. And then if you just need, say, okay, let's run the clock, and then in the background, and then run the command. Let's say move this one out of the way here, and then you can adjust it here, and then say go ahead, run with the digital, and then ampersand. So all of these commands are available for you to do it. And if I just want to know how to kill the process of that one, let's say, for example, I say ps minus ef grep minus I for the x clock, for example. X clock is there. That process ID is showing out here. With one is for the digital. So if I want to kill the digital, say kill -9 4024, automatically kill that process. So out of these the windows that I have, I can kill all of them, and then this X session will not be available. Or I could say pkill X clock. That would be closing that one by the process there. Similarly, if I want to kill the xterm, I could just say pkill xterm. I don't need to look for the process ID of it, and it's there. I just killed it. So with that in mind, I am just going to exit out of this screen, and everything is done as we were looking at. So the Opera is also installed. And if I just say which Opera, now it's Opera is there, and then notice that file /snap/bin Opera, it is showing a snap package, a symbolic link to snap. And if I say file user bin snap, then you can see that that is actually executable link format. And if I say snap list Opera, you can see it is installed and the publisher is there. And then if I say snap info Opera, it is there. And if I want to start it, I just type in here, exit out of this one. I could say which Opera is there, and then I could just say typing Opera will just start the Opera for me here. And then so clear the screen, which Opera snap/bin/Opera, and that should start it. It says something error while loading shared library. So this libgdm.so is not showing. So in this case, if I say ldd snap/bin Opera, and somehow there is some shared object file that are showing here, it is okay, but it is not getting into loaded from this directory. So let's see what is that one, LDD, and then I could just find out this path and then copy this one and paste it. And that one, the LDD of that one is somewhere here. One of the package might be missing. No such file. Let's see where it says and not found. It actually finds all of it so far. Yeah, right here, this package that is not there. So when this one is not there, it is just not completed there. And then I can just remove it and reinstall it afterward. So let me just say snap remove Opera, followed by snap install Opera. So after remove it, it is going to remove it first. I'm going to be prompted for sudo access because it says that you want to do it with this user, and it requires, because somehow I installed it maybe with a root privilege. So it is prompting me to just remove it first and then reinstall it after. So you can run those two commands. And instead of the semicolon, if you put the ampersand, it's saying if this command is successful, run the second command. When you do a semicolon, whether that command is successful or not, the snap install will be running. That's the difference between a semicolon versus the two ampersand. But if you use the or statement, if the first one is true or the second one, either one of them, if it is one, then it's going to run that command. So there's some kind of Boolean operator versus pressing a semicolon, meaning that enter the key. And with this this is going to take a while, because last time when we did it, it took a while for the screen to just finish. And so I'm going to just leave it on the background and then stop the recording so I can post this video. It's 11:31 p.m. in California time, Pacific Standard Time. So I'm going to just Southern California, time Los Angeles County. I'm going to just thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned how to install Linux Ubuntu 22.04 and long-term support version as a desktop, which is running almost like as a server. So the desktop server versus server is what additional software you want to install. If you're running it as a server, maybe you could install SSHD and enable SSHD to just run those system level, so you can connect to the machine. But if you're running as the desktop, you can use the SSH client to connect to other server. And on top of it, if you're running MySQL D, then yes, every time you connect to that database MySQL or MongoDB, then you're becoming kind of like a user that is there. So just out of the box, I want to open one more terminal and just say which GCC. So if GCC is not installed, then I have to install it which Python 3. Out of the box, Python 3 gets installed, user bin Python 3 dash version. So that says the 3.10, which is really nice, the latest and greatest one. So if I say Python 3, here I say import math in the library as m, and then I say m dot power of to the power of 10, let's say, just say I get a 1024, and then if I just get 2 to the power of 11 is 2048, and so on. So if I just say math.pi, get the value of pi, math.square root of let's say 100 is 10. So I go there of math, let's say m, it is there. And at the same time, I could say import OS, and then I say os.system. Okay, so somehow authentication required to remove that package, and now it is done. Maybe it is going through the install part of it. But then I did an import. So now there of OS, now you can see there's a lot of functions and methods and all that double underscore methods and all the exception and all the variables and everything property wise that are available. So if I just say os.system, and then I'm going to just run the command clear to clear my screen, I could just do that one. And os.system, I could just say, let me see the cat minus n etc os dash release on this system as somehow the CT, the A is missing, cat concatenate minus n and line number, and that one. So inside the Python, I could also just say run the command to just give me my information and to the system. Or I could just type in any command here, say, for example, uptime, or running the free command, free and dash h for the system. So any information that I can do at the command line, I can also get it from the Python. Or I could say os.get current working directory, and then that would just say the desktop. So if I do here on this one, I could say equivalent to that one is pwd, and then os.get login ID, login, for example, get login. So that would say Wahid, and then I here on this one I could say ID, or ID, and then dash UN for the username. So that would say Wahid also. And then similarly get group ID and so on. I'm not going to go through all the details there. You can just exit out of this, and then here you can also do pep 3 list. So all the packages that are installed are pep list, and let's see if which pep 3 is not there somehow, and then that should have been installed, and then which pep is not also installed. So we can do a sudo apt install pep3 for installing the Python packages manager. So Python package manager did not get installed with pep, and then apt and search pep3. Somehow when you do the installation of Python 3, it should come up with a pep version equivalent to the version of 3.10 and there, whereas Python 3. So everything that is on the user bin minus L user bin, if I just say pep, let's see if there is anything related to that one. So on this one, Ubuntu, we have to install a software called basically apt-file. If I just don't have it, I have to install it, apt-file. Then you can search for like a user bin pep, or you could do Debian pkg uppercase S user bin pep3 to see where that package is there. So it is not finding it, and then which apt-file is not going to be there either. And so I have to do sudo apt install apt-file, and that would just install the apt-file. Then I have to do the repository updates for it. And then once I do that one, then I can do apt search for user bin pep3 to see if that package is coming. It's like almost like doing a yum provides command to find what is the name of that file, where is that file in the system. So let's see, this one is done. Now if I say apt and dash file and then say search and then user bin Python 3, for example, if I just look at it, it says that you need to run the sudo apt-file update first to just update the cache repository in order to just run the apt-file search command. So this is going to be fast. I'm going to wait for it, although I said about 11:40 that I will just end this one. But this learning is learning, right? The more you learn, the better for you. That's why sometimes I don't have to stop the video and just make it a short video, and when I can teach you a little bit more on the same topic. And if you're not interested to watch it, don't watch that part. Just watch the area that you have. That's a video you can go browse and watch some part of it 10 times, one part of it nothing at all, because that is something that you might not be interested to learn at that moment. You might be fixing a problem and you say, well, how do I update apt-file so I can search for something? And this part of the video will be very useful. Or how do I install the new calendar? That part of the video would be installed. Or how do I do certain commands to just run it in certain like Opera or Chromium installation from Snap. So this part of the video would be useful to you. And then let's go back to this other screen to see what is the progress on this other screen, I believe. This one is there, so I'm going to go to this screen. And this one, the Opera is now installed. So now if I say which Opera, and then you can see that Opera is there. So I say Opera here, just to start it, and we can just see if that one is started without error now. And if it does, this is how easy you fix it, by removing the version, because when I Control C out of it, some of those packages were in dangling state and unknown state. So it was not properly installed at that time. Even though it says installed, and there was something missing. And then now Opera is not complaining, it should start Opera soon. And then on this other screen, I could just go to this other screen, see how the activity is happening here. And that's almost 98% on the dependencies of the caches, almost done. Now all the packages are there. So all I have to do is say apt search, and notice it's gonna search for Python, and everything that is Python related packages are going to be displayed for me here. Similarly, if I just do something with pip, if it doesn't find anything with pip3 on the system, it will just say no such file or something. And then I could just go ahead and install the package. Now it is there. So user ben pip3, which was not showing before, and dash version, I could run it. It says that no such file, pip3 user ben pip3. So the actual file is user ben pip3.10, and that is there. And then that one is also showing there. So and the Opera showed up now. You can see the icon here, and then the screen that is showing on the browser here. I could just say wait for Opera to respond, and then come back here on this screen, and just run the command ls -l user ben pip 3.10. Let's see if that binary is there. Somehow, even though the system finds it, it is not there. So I could do sudo install Python 3.10. If I just say 3.10, say sudo install Python Python 3, I'm going to just say because oh, the apt, I missed the apt here in front of the install apt. And then let's say Python 3, the latest one will be picked up from the repository. But if it is already 3.10.4, Ubuntu is there on the system, it says it's already installed. So let's see if we do pip3 apt pip3. I'm going to just install pip3, and it should pick up after that package. Reading it, and then says unable to locate package. So apt search pip3 and see where the pip3 is there. Basically, if it is not there, you can also do with apt -m for module, and then update and everything. So like, let's say, and just you forget, or I forget the syntax of how to install the pip update, you could just say on the say pip 3 update, and then you just have to use one of these documentation, say python -m pip3 and install --upgrade pip3. So that's a very common name, -m meaning that use the module pip3 and install, and then --upgrade pip. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say sudo python 3, because this is what we are using, python 3 sorry, clear the screen here. So I'm going to do sudo python 3 -m pip3 -update that install --update pip. So this will just go no module with called pep3. And so the module, yes, because it's not installed. So it is this module, when we are looking at it, it's not gonna find that pep. Let's just say Python 3. I'm not gonna just dash m and say install, and that's not gonna find it. Let's see the syntax here that are showing on the browser. So this pep3 is not there. How to install and use pep3 active state. So that is active state. I don't want to use that one. And how to install pep3 on Windows. How to install, let's say, on the install pep3 on Ubuntu 22.4. That would be the fastest way to update it. But because the other ones, when you install the Python, reinstall it, it should have come. So I'm going to just, instead of reinstalling Python 3, I'm going to say install pep3 on Ubuntu 22.04 to see if there's any unique requirements. Update the system repository, install Python pep on Ubuntu 22, the above error declares that verify Python 3 pep 3 version, verify Python. So it is using pep instead of pep 3. How do I install pep on Ubuntu? Notice that when you do, Python comes in two favor, Python 2 and Python 3. Pep this. So these are not helpful at all. And then how to install pep on Ubuntu. Okay, so by the time that one is there, I may be just able to just use my memory to do it. Let's just run this command, minus m for pep. Instead of pep3, we do pep. And then which pep is it there now? So I'm gonna just say I'm going to reinstall the entire Python 3. I'm going to say sudo first su dash. I'm going to say apt reinstall Python 3. If the reinstall options is there, Python 3, it will remove it for me and then reinstall it after. And by doing that one, it will just find all the dependencies, including pep3, that will be there. And then it will take care of it. That might be a fastest way that I can take care of it. Because that dash m pep3 modules were saying that pep3 is not there, you cannot use it. If I'm using a Python 3 with dash m, I'm telling it to use this module in order to update the other module. So processing triggers, and then now let's see which Python 3 is there, which pep3, and then pep3 is still not there. So I'm going to just say apt reinstall let's see if pep gets installed, and then yeah, we could just do the use the pep and then do that one with pep3. When it comes to Python 2.27 is deprecated, so it's end of life, and so pep got changed to pep3, and then Python changed to Python 3. So the other ones are deprecated, and now we're using the pep, which is going to install the pep. Whatever version of the pep it is there, we can use that pep to update the pep itself. to PEP3. So let's see if it gets installed. And then on top of it, on this other package, and while I'm waiting for this one, I'm going to just install as root. I'm gonna install GCC stuff. So this is running on, wow, that app file search is the command. No, this was Chromium. So I'm gonna stop Chromium. You can see it is nice and open up. And here, if I just go to google.com, it will take me to google.com. And then if I just go to MyWebUniversity.com, it takes me to MyWebUniversity.com. Let's just, no thanks, I don't want to sign in at this time. So let's just, and instead of google.com, I'm going to just a little bit slow and not allowing me to type in MyWebUniversity.com. And then if I just go to MyWebUniversity.com, it is taking me to MyWebUniversity. I can always just go to the site here and then go to MyWebUniversity, because I didn't put it on the URL and I put it here on the Google search. So if I was actually wanted to go to the URL and I can maximize this window, it will just open up Chromium on the MyWebUniversity web page, and it will just display it. As you can see, it's all these videos and graphics, images, and everything is coming there. So let me close this Chromium, and then this one will just get out. So I don't need this session. I'm going to close this one. Now this other one that is the PEP, it gets installed. I'm going to just open up another icon here, another terminal here, and I'm going to just say which PEP itself. So the user Ben PEP is getting installed, but I could say -B, see what version it is already installed, and it is say PEP 22.024, which is equivalent to Python 3. So I could just say pep-list or pep list, pep list, and then that would no dash. Pep list, that will just list all the packages that are there. And if I just want to say which pep3, and the pep3 is now their user Ben pep3 list, and that is also going to show the same thing. So now we just resolve the pep3 also, and then on this other screen where I had it, it says that it is done. Now if I say which pep3, it is there, clear the screen, pep3 -- version, it is showing the version, and then pep3 list is showing the packages that are there. I can install packages and I can do whatever I want to do later, but that would be on another video. So I'm all done with this video. Thanks for your patience and thanks for watching. You have a nice one. I'm going to stop recording now. Please don't forget to subscribe at MyWebUniversity free education videos. And I hope you enjoyed it. Have a nice one. Have a great weekend. Take care. Bye-bye.